You are now listening to the NYYST Podcast.
Welcome back. This is episode. I forgot already.
222.
Oh man,
Is
How
it
do you
really?
forget 222, man? Your favorite fucking Yankee of all time.
Right. It's episode 222 of the NYYST Podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
Yo.
And SGR.
what up?
Dude, we did 3 of these in the last fucking 5 days.
Kind of feels good.
Might get syndicated soon. All these
Are we?
episodes.
Have you talked to
Yeah.
somebody at WPIX?
Well, actually, the rule is 100 episodes and you're syndicated. So
Oh,
technically,
we're
we
double
are.
that.
Yeah, we're double.
Yeah.
And like we talked about in the last couple of episodes, I don't know what day it is. So now, we've done 3 episodes in 5 days. Who the hell really knows what that means?
95% of the day today, I was convinced it was Sunday until about 3 hours ago. I thought it was Sunday.
You thought opening day was on Sunday.
Yep. Just wasn't even clicking in my head.
Couldn't put 1 and 1 together on
Couldn't.
that.
Couldn't
Which
do it.
equals 2.
2.
Which we're on episode 222.
Wow. It all,
See how it all comes
together. It's
together
like
now?
that movie 23 with Jim Carrey.
Conspiracy, yeah. Cursey
Yeah.
conspiracies. I knew you were going there, dude.
COVID boy has the conspiracies.
Yeah.
You had to go right to the conspiracies.
I was thinking about starting a show. Like we talked about adding more content this year. Something like Chrissy in the car or something where I get like one of the portable recorders I could plug a mic into. Since I have a commute every other day, like an hour commute, just record a show while I'm driving.
I like that.
It's not a bad idea.
Chrissy
The
commute-
adventures of COVID
Chrissy
boy.
commutes.
The Adventures of COVID Boy Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy commutes. I like that.
Christy commutes with COVID.
Chrissy commutes with COVID. And I'll do the whole show driving with my mask on, alone in the car.
Yeah, totally.
With a visor too, or just a mask?
I'll just do the mask for now until Fauci comes out and really supports double vising. Once you go with the double visor support system, then I'll get the visor going.
Double
Fine,
vise it.
fine.
Double visor,
visor?
triple
Visor?
triple mask, double visor.
Pfizer. Okay.
So you got the. Did you say you got the Pfizer or the
I
Moderna?
got the Moderna.
Moderna.
Do you know what Francesca calls
Johnson
it?
and Johnson.
A Moderna.
Moderna.
The
Okay,
Pfizer.
I got the-
Okay.
And the,
I got the-
Pfizer.
I got the.
Moderna.
I got the Moderna.
Okay. Who's your favorite singer? The Madonna. Okay. Madonna.
The
Okay.
Madonna.
Madonna.
All right. So today was opening day for the 2021 baseball season, and
Was
officially,
it? Because I'm
And
sorry, I was
officially the-
confused. I just going on social media all day. I thought it was like the 100th game of the season.
the season is over.
Right, right. Look, fair warning, real quick. I know we got a lot to get into. I just want to give fair warning to what was my boy's name on Twitter? I told him I'd give him a real shout out today that I fought
Yeah.
with on our Twitter page. I think his last
Yeah.
name, my boy Dustin. Here's your shout out, pal. This is a warning to listeners like Dustin who hate when we rip on the fans. I just want to say this. When we're ripping on the fans, most of you, we know this, most of you are not the people we're ripping on. We're ripping on the very small percentage of Yankee fans who have no fucking idea what's going on. And they just like to talk for attention pretty much. And they're the loudest ones always. And they like to
Vocal
be the loudest
minority,
ones on
maybe.
our reviews too sometimes. So let's drown them out. If you're a true listener of the show, you love this show, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Literally, we're all over the place. And on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, what do they say? Like, smash that like, smash that subscribe.
Yeah, smash.
And that's it. And just fucking get us in your life. And that's it. So, Dustin, that was your shout out, bro. And again, I respect Dustin because he fucking came back at me. And we encourage that. Come at me.
Mhm.
So we've been teasing this for the last couple episodes. We have an announcement to make regarding the future of the show. So we'll just get into it before we actually get into what happened today. The announcement is that this is, for all intents and purposes, our final season. We started the podcast in the middle of the 2017 season. So now we're at 2017, 18, 19, 20. This is the fifth
Wow.
season we'll be doing the NYYST podcast. Um, we've done a lot of really cool things. We've talked to a lot of really cool people. We've reached heights we never thought we would reach. But at this point in our lives, um, certain things need to happen for us to continue to do this. Not
Chris,
there.
you froze
What?
for a second, just for a
So,
quick second.
as I was saying, certain things need to happen for us to continue to do this. And while this show is wildly successful, Chris was correct. He wasn't just saying it to say it. Um, this is the third in Yankee podcast. We're number 3. We're a top 45 podcast in all of baseball podcasts across the country. That's nothing to sneeze at. So this is a really successful show. The issue is that, for us to take the time away from our families and, our children, it's got to be a show that also can pay some bills. And we've tried like hell several different times, and we just haven't cracked that barrier yet. So we've all gotten together and have decided that this will be our final season. So whenever the Yankees season concludes, and that's part of the reason why we've been so optimistic about this year, because we want to go out with a title. We don't want to end this show without the Yankees winning a World Series. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and say that this is not 100% set in stone. We're probably about 95% positive that this is going to be our final season doing the show. We've been putting out the Sterling silhouette shirts. The fourth one dropped today, the Glaber Torres one. These are all things that we're trying to do to get the show to where it needs to be financially. That's why we've also been stressing to leave us a 5-star rating and review. If those didn't mean anything, we wouldn't be asking for them. These are all things that drive us up the charts and make us more attractive to advertisers. Okay, so that's why we want to peel back the curtain. A lot of you have been very loyal and have been with us since day one, and this is the 5th year we've been doing this. So let's be open and transparent about it. This is why we ask for these certain things. We're not going to, and this is what it is. We're not cutting back. We're going to give you more
Mm-hmm.
in this season, because if this is really it, we're gonna put 110% into this and make sure we went out at the top of our game, doing everything that we could do to make this show the best that it possibly could be. And even if we walk away from it in November or October, whenever it is, hopefully November, that's not to say the show will never come back. That's not to say that we'll never record again. I would just say if we don't hit our goals, this show being a weekly show will be over with. So again, I love everybody. I love all you that have listened and supported the show over the last 5 years. You'll never know what it truly means to us, but I'm going to be 38 in in October. I got a kid now. Chris has got 3 kids. Ryan yanks a lot, so we can't take it. We can't take the time away from that for a show that's not increasing our financial standing, I guess you could say. There's no other way I could put it. I love doing this show, but I just don't have the time to invest in a hobby anymore, I guess, is the best way that I could say it.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'll just peel it all the way back to the beginning from the first time when I started that Twitter page and reached out to you and you went on with Munch and on Fox Sports Radio in Akron.
Huge in Akron.
That was actually like one of the coolest things because I was just doing the page and I was going to eventually talk to you about it, whatever. And then we got people fucking contacting us from Fox Sports Radio, that they want us on to be a guest host for, to talk Yankees. I was like, shit, this might go somewhere. And I always remember before this, you always talked about doing a podcast. And I was like, this is going to be the channel to do it. And I remember sitting down, how fucking awkward. And I always say this, to people, go back to the first episode. I can't even get through it. And we had an awesome guest on, Vic DiBattista, who is like wildly successful now. Um, it's painful to get through, but I remember sitting there and being like, this is fucking awesome. I don't care if 2 people listen to the show. It's great. It's a way to like vent and whatever. And from that moment, I'd say we definitely started it as a hobby of like, we need to get this energy out somewhere. We can't keep screaming at our wives and parents and whoever when the Yankees lose. We need to get it out somewhere. And so we started the show. And if you told me we would do half the things that we were able to do, I would tell you were fucking out of your mind. But as those things started to get more serious and as this started to grow, so did our real life responsibilities, families, whatever. And over the last few years, over the last couple of years, it's gotten to a point where we were like, okay, we need to figure out when that time is going to come where we say, okay, this can't just be a hobby anymore. As much as we love it, as much as we love all of the relationships that we've made, like seriously, everyone, even the fucking people I hate, even you assholes who come at us and leave us shitty reviews, I love you. You want to know why? Because you took a second out of your life to listen to us talk. And I appreciate that, regardless of how you feel about us. And at this point, I think we finally hit that point now where it's like shit or get off the pot. And if we're gonna go out, I think this is the year to do it. And let's see. I mean, like you said, we're amping up. We're not taking it down. We're not tearing it down. We're amping it up. And in the hopes that our loyal listeners, our fans out there, people new to the show who love it, will kind of just sit back and be like, I don't want this fucking show to end. And you know, neither do we. Trust me. I don't. If I didn't have a family or responsibility, I would do this show every day, probably for the rest of my life. Like that's how much I love doing this. But it gets to a point where you got to make that decision, and I think we're making the right decision putting it on this season. That if we don't hit those goals, this is it.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, we started this venture later in life, so we were unable to take some of the chances and some of the risks that maybe some other people have. You know, we came into this with responsibilities, and our responsibilities have only grown
Right.
since then. Um, you know, we have families that we need to take care of. We have kids that you know they need food in their mouth. So, uh, and you know, it sucks that I love my daughter, and you know, it sucks that like I got to take time out of the day to record this show and not be with her. But if this was something that I could say improved her standing or helped me improve her life in any type of way, then you could justify it. So now we're at a point, and we're not begging for money, guys. That's just
No.
the thing. We're not sitting here saying, "Oh, you know, here's my PayPal, give me money so we can continue to do the show." If you want, if you want to support the show, hey, there's a website. We have a shop out there. Buy a T-shirt. We're gonna come in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna figure out a way to launch a Patreon.
I
All
have
right.
it in the works. It should be ready to go by the end of next week.
If you want to support the show, subscribe to the Patreon. Right. We're not asking for money just to say here's our paper. We're gonna give you stuff back. That's what we're saying. You subscribe to the Patreon, you're gonna get exclusive content. You go to the website, you buy T-shirts, you get the T-shirt, right? It's not like we're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, Venmo me," or we're gonna close down the show. No, 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 no. It's not like that. If you don't, if we're not doing a good enough job for you to support us in that way, then maybe it is time to walk away. And
And
this isn't a sob story. This isn't feel bad for NYYST. This is just, hey, you know what? We've always been open
life.
and honest with you guys. And I think that's one of the things that's made us so successful is that we don't bullshit. We don't try to be who we're not. So we're just being open and honest. The season started today. This was the right time to come out and make this announcement. We didn't want to come out and say it at, you know, our last show is our last show. Like if we're recording, you know, hopefully what will be a World Series championship celebration show. We didn't want to say at the end, it's like, oh, this is the last one. Hey, we're letting you guys know now. This could very well possibly be the farewell season for NYYST, and we want to go out with a World Series. And obviously it's a way beyond our control, but we also want to go out with giving you guys best possible content, the best possible shows, and letting you guys know that we did everything in our power to, to continue this thing. So
And I'll say this, just last thing from me. I can't speak for you guys, but I'd have to imagine that you feel the same way. Even if we put all this work in this season and we get to the end and we didn't hit those goals and it's time to wrap this up, there's no, I mean, again, at least for me, I will not have one bad or negative feeling or anything towards our listeners throughout this.
no,
Like,
I hate all of you.
yeah, you bastards, you motherfuckers. Like, honestly, we're not doing this because like we expect anything from anyone. We're just letting you know that these channels will be out there to help support the show, and we're gonna do everything we can to make it worth your while. If
And
you
the
decide
easiest
to
and the
support,
simplest way for you to help support us is doesn't even cost money.
yep,
It doesn't.
not
Leave
at
us a
all.
5-star rating review on iTunes. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Tell a friend. Tell one person a day that's a Yankee fan that may not have heard about us or have tried us and didn't come back. Say, hey, you know what? Give these guys a try again, because these are all things that these are all things that can look really attractive to other people that could help us out, and it doesn't cost you a dime. So again, I don't want to make this seem like we're begging for money or this is a stop story or give us charity, but hey, like we said, we're always open and honest with everybody. We're always open and honest with our listeners, and this is what it is. So
Yeah, and I know to our loyal listeners who have been here from the beginning, like this is kind of seems like upsetting news, but to me, yeah, I'll be upset to stop doing the show, but man, I cannot have I can't be upset about anything that we've done doing this. I mean, it's just been fucking incredible, man. If you told me if you told me we were going to have John Sterling on this show, I would have told you to literally go just jump off a bridge at that point. I would not. I would tell you you were crazy and that was never going to happen. Like things like that, and the amount of relationships we built, even if it's just a relationship built on one tweet or reply, like just those interactions have been why we have done this without really having any financial backing to it. Why we continue to pour it in because of those things. So thank you. We're going to give you the best fucking content we can this season. And if we go out, we will absolutely be going out with a bang. I'll tell you that.
Ryan, you all right over there, bro? You crying?
Ryan's
I'm
good.
I'm just reminiscing, guys.
We will
Just
definitely
thinking
do.
about.
Listen, we'll definitely do some reminiscing too. I'd like to take, at least for me, I'm going to assume that this is going to be it. I'd rather assume that this is going to be it and pay the proper respect to the people who have kind of been with us along the way. So I'll have some stuff planned throughout the season to reminisce on. Don't worry about it. Okay. Don't you worry about it.
All right, so that was the that's the news right there. Like we said, this is about 95% certain. Again, if we want to leave that window open in case we do hit what we need to hit, and we can continue to do this going forward. And even if we do decide to hang it up, again, it might not be a permanent hang up. It might just be a thing where we do a show once a month, or we'll, if but the days of this being a weekly podcast could very well be ending when the Yankee season ends. So hopefully, things break the right way for not only us but the Yankees. So either way, one way or another, we have a happy November. So um, just so again, like we said, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the easiest and simplest way to continue to support the show. And just tell a friend, man. That's it. It's really all we can ask for. And if you want to support the show financially, please go to the shop, nysportstalk.com/shop. And, follow us on Twitter at NYYSportsTalk for when the Patreon goes live. So again, we don't expect it. We understand that we're still in a pandemic and a lot of people are struggling. That's why we're not sitting here setting up a GoFundMe or a PayPal account. That's why we're saying we have goods and services in return if you want to support us that way. We'll never ask for anything like for free. We'll never do that. I'd rather quit today than beg for charity. But
Yes.
that's how it is. So I mean, if you guys have anything I mean, if you guys want to move on to the game today, we can do that.
Yeah, look, we got that out of the way, and it's time to fucking get into it now. We talked about how we're gonna start pumping out great content this year. Well, this is the first segment of the new season, and it's opening day.
Yeah. So the Yankees lost today 3-2, and season's canceled. So we can just move on to we should just cancel. We went on that whole open there, and we should just cancel the show now.
Yeah,
because there's
actually,
no-
yeah. Now that we're back to being ourselves, and we don't have to be like all genuine with you guys and shit, and like thank you, we should have just can't. We should have actually canceled. I might edit that out. Say go fuck yourselves, go fout yourselves, and just cancel the show.
So the Yankees, they lost 3-2 today, and I don't really know what to say. We'll go into some things about the game, but what really bothers me about today is the fans. And like you said in the group chat before we came on, you don't want to waste the time and energy on this, but I just feel like we wouldn't be us if we let it go.
Yeah, can't let it go. This is what I meant to say to Dustin. Dustin, buddy, just as much as you think it's getting old and you hate it because you feel like we're kind of ripping on fans all the time, we fucking hate doing it too. I hate doing it. And I know majority of Yankee fans aren't these people. And I'll make that crystal clear, Chrissy. Okay. But we got to talk about the 1 or 2% that don't shut the fuck up and embarrass the rest of us. It's bad.
So basically today, it was earlier in the game. I don't remember what inning, but we're sitting there and we're all saying to ourselves, did Stan
Did
get
I just
booed?
hear a few boos?
And
I know.
then-
What I said to you guys was, is my mind playing tricks on me, or did I hear some fans boo Stanton just now?
And then I go on Twitter and people in the stadium are saying, I can't believe John Carlos Stanton's getting booed. And I'm saying to myself, this guy just had a record-breaking postseason. and
Literally.
we're booing him. We're booing
Literally.
him. We're booing him 4 at-bats into the season.
Here's what it is. Ready? And I thought about this just before, leading up to this point, before his postseason. Why did everyone say they booed him?
Because he couldn't stay on the field.
But really, at the end of the day, they said until he proves himself where?
In October.
Okay, then he'll be a Yankee, right? Okay, so he's done that now. But we're still gonna boo him. So you just hate him. You're just never gonna accept him, just like probably Gary Sanchez as well. It's just unbelievable to me. It's really unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it seems like they forgot about the October he had last year, and it's funny though. There were no fans in the postseason last year, so
Yeah.
he didn't have to worry about.
So
that,
what? These
and he didn't have to-
derelicts weren't watching the games on TV.
Well, he
No.
couldn't hear them.
He's saying
He
Stanton
couldn't hear them.
wasn't dealing with the fans, and he exploded in the postseason.
I mean that eighth inning. But what's that? Who's the guy pitching in the eighth? Was that Chatwood or Dolis?
That was the ninth.
I don't know.
thought.
No, it was the eighth when he was getting booed, and it was on an 0-2 after the second strike. They really started booing, and they were 2 really good pitches. The strikeout pitch was in on him, and it wasn't close. It was a bad swing, but you can't give up on a guy's at bat after 2 pitches. You can't just think about what you're doing. You're booing, and just that alone has a chance at distracting the player you're supposed to be rooting for.
Right. Here's what I don't understand: is what do you think you're going to get from booing him?
Well, he
What
makes
is-
too much money.
Okay, but but when he's up at the plate, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to strike out so you can be like, "Oh, I told you he sucks," or do you want him to hit 450?
Yeah, and look, back.
What are you getting out of booing him?
Yeah, nothing.
Right.
Nothing but self
Just I told you so. It's-
satisfaction, gratification, that you feel a little bit better about yourself because you're letting everyone around you know that you're disgusted with this guy. And here's what I'll say.
No, that you're actually disgusting.
Disgusting. And here's what I'll say on this as well. Leading up to this, I never thought Stanton was treated fairly. There were times that definitely warranted boos. I didn't agree with them. I'm just not a guy who boos players on the team he roots for, but a lot of people are, and that's more than okay. And leading up to this, even if it was, opening day of a season, I'd say, you know what, you're an asshole, but whatever. But to do this and why it pissed me off so much, and I don't care one bit about what Stanton's feeling. I know he's fucking tough enough to get through it. Who cares? It's a fucking boo. That's not the point. The point is when you're booing a guy who just fucking carried your team in the postseason in, again, record-breaking fashion, what you're proving to the world, to the baseball world, is that you're a bunch of spoiled, ungrateful pricks who just sit there and don't appreciate. Do you know what the number one most courageous fucking thing in your life is? Being appreciative of something, being grateful of things despite all the shit that you feel and whatever. The fact that this guy did what he did in the postseason and then you go out and just boo him, fuck you, man. Honestly, like, do you appreciate a single thing in your life? That's fucking ridiculous. And again, it has nothing to do with actually booing Stanton. It's the statement of this guy can just never fucking win here. And I tweeted this and I fucking mean it. I wish the Yankees could find him a place that to land him on a team that actually fucking appreciates the guy. I really do.
So here's a couple of points I want to make here. Number one, with Stanton specifically, your big gripe with Giancarlo Stanton is that he's hurt all the time. He can't stay on the field. So now Giancarlo Stanton is sitting there with a bicep injury or whatever, and he could probably come back, but he's 85%. What do you think saying to himself? I should rush back for these fucking people who boo me after I put this team on my fucking back in October and I have 3 and I take an 0 for 3 and they're booing me. I should rush back for these people because that's how I would fucking feel. And you could say, oh, he shouldn't be so sensitive. Well, you want to know what? He's a human being with fucking feelings. And I can guarantee you, if you felt fucking unappreciated, you wouldn't be in a rush to be doing anybody any favors because that's just human nature.
Yeah, I'll say this. Again, I'm not going to go to Stanton's feelings. I don't think that I do believe that if he were 85%, that situation you gave, he wouldn't care about anything but his teammates at that point. Even like if he didn't feel appreciated by the fans, he would do it for his teammates and wanting to win.
Maybe.
I think he would do it anyway.
Right.
But there is a psychological thing, and even if Stanton never said it, there's a psychological, studies have been done that appreciation, especially in men, goes an extremely long way in striving for success. So even if he doesn't know it, even if it's subconscious, those things fucking matter. And again, it's not the boo. If it was mid-season and he was in a really bad slump, that's different. But now you're hitting a point with him where it's like, guys, what the fuck more did I have to do?
Game 1 of 162.
Of one game. So then it just becomes, it's almost like it's arbitrary at this point. Yeah, he didn't have a good game, but it just doesn't, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. The good he does on the field has no correlation with how fans are going to treat him the second he's not being perfect for them. And in that sense, he'll never win.
You know what? Maybe you're right, is that he shouldn't be thinking about the fans, but you can't tell me that a thought like that wouldn't cross a guy's mind. That why should I go the extra mile for this fucking fan base? They don't care. They don't appreciate me.
We just talked about 61 the other day. You were watching it before opening day. Look at how Mantle was treated during those seasons by the fans when the dude fucking broke the record.
Roger Maris.
Sorry, Roger Maris. Who did I say?
You said Mantle, but
sorry. I meant Maris. And think about how that affected him. I mean, that was real. Billy Crystal, the one thing about that movie and why I love it so much is how they say how accurate Billy Crystal was with all of that. The dude they hated him. They hated the guy.
Because he wasn't a real Yankee.
Because he wasn't a real Yankee to them.
And we've always made the comparison to A-Rod with Giancarlo Stanton. And this even goes back with this fan base to the 60s now, apparently, with the way they treated Maris versus
This is worse than A-Rod. This is worse than A-Rod, and I'll tell you why. A-Rod, I feel like a lot of that came, of course, the contract, but a lot of that came just like with Maris, even though him and Mantle were close. It came when it really piled on when the rumors started that A-Rod was fucking with Jeter. Like, and they weren't getting, and then it was like, don't fuck with Jeter, man. That's our guy. And then from there, he fucking had the mishaps with the steroids and everything. He sucked in the postseason. And you know what? A lot of that shit was justified at that point, and I got that. This, I just can't wrap my. Your excuse cannot be this guy's getting paid millions of fucking. All of them are. Almost all of these guys are getting paid millions. Them getting paid millions does not mean you hate them when they don't
Right.
perform.
Ronald Torreyes makes more money than the guy that cures fucking cancer for a living. So
Right.
you can't tell me
Right.
that it has anything to do. You can't make that comparison because baseball players and athletes, they just live in a different world.
I always
Like,
say,
oh, like, yeah, I would love everybody's like, oh, the teacher should make more. Yeah, no shit. I would fucking love that. And then I wouldn't have to quit the fucking show because my wife would be a millionaire, you know?
and I always say this, like, you're booing a guy. Like, imagine someone, and if you weren't competent at your job, but you got paid millions, it would be like, who's the fucking idiot? Right? Like, if you were just fucking doing your job wrong and someone came up to you and booed you, right? Because you got paid too much money. It's like, I don't know. If I really suck that bad, I must have deceived my owner pretty well, because he's not the one who's cutting the checks. It's the fucking Yankees. So if you see like Hal Steinbrenner on the street or Brian Cashman, you want to boo them, go ahead. If that's your reasoning, the money he makes, then fine. But it's not. It's not that. It's that he's not performing to the ability that you want him to. And even when he does, the second he doesn't again, he's worthless to you. Even when he record-breaking postseason, the second he doesn't do that, worthless.
And here's the other point I wanted to make. I was actually complimenting the fans today. 10,850. And I was watching the introductions. They didn't even boo Domingo Germán.
I thought they were going to boo him. I thought the whole thing, they gave him pretty good cheer.
And then I'm saying to myself, everybody must just be so happy to be here right now.
Yep. And it was loud.
No, and I said either they did a great job miking the crowd, or these people are really loud. Because remember, and I even went and tweeted it today, and we talked about it last episode. Is that I just wanted everybody to be loud and be appreciative that they were there. And I really felt that. But then the minute things didn't go their way, there's like a fucking, like you said, spoiled children. That's what it was. And I'm saying to myself, here's the thing that really bothered me, is that we have not been able to go to a Yankee game for 15 months. 15 months. We haven't been allowed to go to a baseball game. And everything that we've been through. Now, I'm not going to get into the COVID and what it really is, or really whatever. The fact is, this was a 2020 and even into 2021. A lot of people fucking died. A lot of people have been hurt financially. There's businesses and people that will never recover from this pandemic. That's just facts. Okay. And you would think that you were one of the lucky 20% of people that were allowed to be in Yankee Stadium, that you could fucking hold it together for 3 fucking hours and not act like a fucking child. And you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead on. Dead fucking on. You were one of the first Yankee fans that was able to fucking give Garrett Cole his first round of applause at Yankee Stadium as a New York Yankee. Like, think about that for a second. This guy could lead this team to a World Series this year, but instead you decide to turn everything by the 7th or 8th inning and start booing. Like, come on, guys. Fucking stay positive. What is this shit? What is this? Like, give me what I want or I'm fucking ungrateful. Fuck you. Come on. And you just brought up the whole like COVID shit and how it's only 20%. I want to bring this up not just to tell you the story, but for any fans who bought tickets. I tell you I was supposed to go to the game April 17th, I think, against the Rays. My wife bought tickets a couple weeks ago. Now she goes on and she goes, the digital ticket that I got says it's against the Marlins now and not the Rays. I'm like, that's fucking weird. Maybe it's just a glitch in the system. So then she goes on to Ticketmaster, wherever she got the ticket, and it says this event has been postponed. And then finally we got an email today that because of the capacity limitations, our tickets are no longer valid. We can either get a refund or credit. And then you can't get tickets anywhere anymore. So I was like, it was way too easy for her to get tickets. So if you bought tickets a few weeks ago, keep checking it because you're probably not going to the game.
Yankees have only sold tickets, I think, up until April 21st at this point.
Yeah, well, I had April 17th.
Well, where'd you get the tickets from?
Ticketmaster. Or
Not
no,
through-
no, yeah, but Yankee is Ticketmaster.
Mm.
So that's where we got it from. But I guess maybe at the time they didn't implement the capacity limitations through the system online, maybe, and they oversold tickets. I don't know how that works.
Right. So there's a lot of factors that like could have went into how you got lucky enough to be there. There were probably people that were 30-year season ticket holders that just got beat and couldn't go and couldn't get their tickets to the game. You were lucky enough to be there. You were lucky enough to be one of the 10,850 people to be at Yankee Stadium for the first time in 15 months. And you couldn't appreciate it. You couldn't keep it together for one fucking game. I'm not saying that you don't boo or you can't express your frustrations, but Jesus Christ, like Ryan said, in the middle of that at bat, you're fucking already starting to boo somebody. The game's not even over yet. It was a tie game.
It's just, and again, I can't stress this enough. I don't give a shit about you booing. Like, that's not what this is about.
No, Chris, it's fucking embarrassing is what it is.
Yes,
it really is. Like, it's
not
truly
this.
fucking
It's
embarrassing.
not like, I don't want people to turn away from the show and be like, they're fucking sensitive. Like, you can't boo a player. Blah. No, fucking, that's not the point. It's the context of it. It's the context of it. Like, you're a fan for a fucking reason. And the fact that you're, again, Stanton, we just stressed how good of a postseason had, but just in general, the fact that you're showing up with all the things that Christian just said of why you should be appreciative just to be there, the fact that in your mind at any point, I don't care if they're getting killed 14-2, like at any point for you to sit there and go, this is my time where I'm gonna fucking show them how disgusted I am at them, and start booing, is a fucking.
And what are you mad at though? After one game, you're
Right,
mad.
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Look at the context. All the things you should be appreciative of being there. Think about that. Think about that just in your psyche. Like, how could you ever get to a point today? And I just can't wrap my head around it. How could you ever get to a point today where you're so angry and disgusted at the Yankees or a player or whatever that you're going to start to spew your hate with booing? Like, how do you get to that point in your brain today? I wouldn't care if they lost 15-0. Seriously, I would have been happy to fucking be there. And you know what? Yeah, I would have been upset about the game, but it's fucking one game. It's
No.
just wild. And
And if
the energy has to stop. We need that fucking intensity at Yankee Stadium this year, especially this year, if there's going to be less people in the stadium.
If you think about it too, this is Giancarlo Stanton's third season as a New York Yankee. Last year, there weren't any fans at the home opener. This is the second time with fans at one of his home openers where he was booed before the last out was made.
This is his fourth year.
Was it
But he's
fourth year?
saying, well, the first year wasn't. It was in Toronto.
No, I was I misread the baseball reference just now.
But here's the
no,
funny
but
part
I
about
meant
what you
home. I just meant home opener. So two of his three home openers in front of fans have.
But
have
wait, here's
ended
the
in
best
boos.
one. Remember his first season when he started? It was opening day in Toronto, I
Yeah,
believe.
against,
He had two
And
home
he had
runs.
to be
two home
not-
runs, right? And he
Yeah.
had a great road trip. The second he struck out 4 times on opening day
Yeah,
and the home
oh,
opener,
and
he was getting
over.
booed.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and again, at that point, I still don't agree with it or see how you're doing it. But all right, whatever. You want to wait for the guy to prove himself? That's your fucking MO. Fine, run with it. Be consistent with it, and be you, right?
I
But
thought
how?
this was his fourth
But
year.
now he has proven himself. So all you're telling us is this guy is hated for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter what he does. It's over for him. If
Yeah,
he,
but it even went past that in the 10th inning. They were booing. They booed Urshela. They booed
Yeah.
Glaber. No, Hicks. Then they booed Torres. So, I mean, it was an ugly day. Like I don't want to keep going on about this.
Nah,
It's just fucking embarrassing.
No,
It
it's
really
fine.
is. Like I understand that we all waited so long for this, and then they didn't come through in the clutch, especially in the ninth inning, and it's just like you're getting frustrated. But my God, like, can you fucking calm down? Like, what after one game? After one game,
Yeah,
like this is why we're preaching. Be positive. Just be positive.
crazy.
That's it.
Maybe they were just pulling an April Fool's prank on
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that they are the April that they're the
They're
not
him.
the
the they're just
April
fools.
Fools.
Period.
Uh,
Like because then this is because here's the last thing I'm going to say. This isn't just like us being sensitive or whatever because you're
I'm
the
not a
asshole.
sensitive person.
You're just the asshole. Number one,
Like, if
and
you want to be an asshole, be an asshole. I don't care.
but number two, my problem is that now I got to be lumped in with you fucking people because
That's it.
because because what people around the league and on these sports shows see is like, look at these asshole Yankee fans. They haven't been to a game. And
Frozen.
because they're not winning by 10 runs in the seventh inning, they're going to start booing. Look at these ungrateful assholes.
Mhm.
Instead of compartmentalizing like we do, and we know it's probably 10% of the fan base, and 90% is probably not doesn't feel the same way. The way we're portrayed to the rest of the nation is that we're a bunch of fucking idiots. And that's
And
what I don't like.
And again, you're more of like an ego guy, like that, and not in a negative way. I'm just saying it in general. I don't give a fuck who thinks what about me. I don't care if people think Yankee fans are ungrateful, whatever. I care more about internally how the fan base feels about it. Like, for me, it pisses me off to a point where I don't even want to be around certain Yankee fans at the stadium, and that's not the energy that we need to bring. We need to bring a fucking energy where we're all there and we're all just fucking ready to watch this team take off and win a fucking World Series this year. We need to all be on the same side here, guys.
I joke about it all the time, Chris. Like if this team wins in 6 games, everybody's gonna be pissed off that they didn't win in 5.
Yeah, no, you say it all the time, and it's true.
But according the way they played today, they're going to be out. They're going to be out of it in like around August 15th. The season's just going to be a complete wash at that point.
Well, I think the statisticians prorated all the stats from today, and the Yankees should be out of it within 30 days from now.
Yeah.
30 days. Wow,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Be like Mets fans over the last decade.
So what I think really pissed a lot of people off is that the one guy they couldn't boo today was Gary Sanchez because he had a really good game today. The 2-run home run in the second put the Yankees up 2-1. Then he had another single. He had a big walk in the ninth inning. He threw out a runner at second, trying to steal. So Gary had a great game today. If you were going to say that, give a Yankee player of the game, it would definitely be Gary Sanchez. So I think maybe the reason why a lot of Yankee fans that like to boo were pissed is because
misplaced anger.
they're a fucking prime target. They couldn't boo him today.
Misplaced. I got to say, man, people are going to think I'm fucking crazy for saying this, but out of all the great things Gary did today, that walk in the ninth, right? It was the ninth.
Yeah.
That walk in the ninth might have been the biggest glimpse of hope for me, because usually especially after he hit that big home run, you see Gary amp up a lot, lose his approach at the plate. He didn't do that. And you want to talk about the actual positive things he did, like hitting that fucking bomb, his swing. He was in like Gary form, going on that lower pitch.
He was close on another.
And he was. I thought he got it, but he
Yeah,
and
me
it was a
too.
low pitch too, and he somehow still got under it.
It
But
was 3-1 count, I think.
go back and watch that home run if you can, and see the location and see how Gary kind of comes down and goes through that ball. When Gary does that, he is in good form. When he can swing like that, it's usually when he's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that the biggest thing you could take away, because just like we can sit here and say it's the first game, it's one game, you can't sit here and say guys suck just because they went 0 for 5. You also can't say Gary's back after one game. So what I'll say is,
Right.
the one thing that you can take out of this that you hope will sustain itself is that he's starting the season with confidence. And that's something that we said was the most important thing for Gary, because his struggles come mentally, not talent-wise. And so if you want to take anything away from this, yes, he had a great performance, but more importantly, Gary's off on the right foot. And that's what he absolutely needed.
and not only off on the right foot, but he kind of like he targeted all the biggest facets of his game that
Yeah.
people seem to question his offensive
He was great behind the plate.
capabilities. He threw a runner out and he hustled down the line. He's like he's lazy,
I
but
didn't really
he's
hustle. He didn't really hustle. I saw the replay. It shouldn't have been as close as he was. He didn't really
uh,
break it out of the box, but
all right. Well,
I kept a
then
note.
he's lazy.
I made
I take
sure
that
to
back.
be aware
Lazy.
too if he was doing the knee thing again, and he was. I was shocked. I
Yeah,
thought he
he-
was going to move away from
there's
it.
something that I do want to bring up regarding the lineup today. I think this is the Yankees A lineup right now with
Other
Voit
than
out.
Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean with Voit out, yeah. Although you saw a little hop along over there with his crutch, like
He
he's some
wasn't even
fucking.
using the crutch.
He's just being a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. He just played
no.
60 games on a fucking broken
You know
foot.
what he said though regarding the surgery? He said he had the surgery because he was tired of playing hurt all the time.
Yeah, I get that. But like, I don't really care about that. I care about when you were feeling the pain and how long it took for you to.
Well, we
admit it.
still don't. I mean, I still haven't
know.
figured
I
that out.
know. I don't think we will.
But I'm just saying, like that's what he said. He's like, I'm tired of playing hurt. That's why I
Yeah.
had surgery.
Yeah, and look how good he did last year. Imagine when he's fully healed and back.
And and again, I don't blame him because the guy played on one foot last year, led the league in home runs, and then he would have struck out today on a torn meniscus. He would have got booed.
Booed immediately.
Luke. Yeah, but at least he could be like, oh, they're just saying Luke. They're just saying Luke. They're just saying Luke.
Yeah, well, at the one point in the game, somebody either
Bruce.
tweeted it or Kay said it. Said, "Oh, they're saying Bruce." No,
They're saying boo.
no. You guys never watched The Simpsons, but there was an old episode where Mr. Burns was getting booed, and he asked Smithers, "Are they saying boo? Are they booing me?" No, and Smithers is like, "No, they're saying boo earns."
Did you hear that
Chris,
story?
when you
by the
Chris,
way?
when you cut up the reminisce clips, can you just put up a whole clip of Christian going? I know you guys never watched The Simpsons.
Yeah, I will. I'll see how many times he said it throughout the show. Did you guys hear real quick that story on Ryu? I forget who was telling it. I think it might have been Kay or Cone. Did you hear what they said about Ryu? That
What?
he's not he was a natural righty.
Natural righty, yeah.
But
and
his
father
dad
bought
bought him
Really?
a
long glove.
lefty glove, and he taught himself how to pitch lefty.
No
Yeah,
way.
and
I
it
didn't
made
know
me
that.
think of something, and I meant to ask again, not to go off topic, but for any of you who have seen the CC documentary, I guess I noticed this because I'm a lefty, and I just like when you throw with your left or right hand to do things more dominant with your other hand is just crazy to me. And I'm not talking about ambidextrous. Ambidextrous is like, yeah, I can do this with both my left and right hand. I'm talking about being a lefty thrower. Did you notice that CC, when he was writing that note at the end of the documentary, which I recommend for everyone, is actually right-handed writer?
Mm-mm.
And our dad's like that actually.
Yeah.
But like it's always crazy to me because that's not like a full ambidextrous to me. Ambidextrous is like that douchebag the Yankees had who could pitch with
Pat
both hands.
Vendetti.
Like
Yeah,
that's a true
Why
ambidextrous.
is he a douchebag though? Have you met him?
Because you know what? Here's why. And it's not envy or jealousy because I know if I pitch with both hands, it would not give me any better chance of ever being a baseball player. But it's just like pick a fucking hand, dude. Like stop switching the gloves.
They made the Pat Venditti rule. 'Cause of
Yeah,
that,
I
'cause
know.
He kept switching gloves to a switch hitter.
No, in all seriousness, man, I can't imagine being that talented to be able to do that shit with both
He wasn't
hands.
that good though.
No, but he was a fucking major league baseball player.
He played for a little while. With
He
the
was
A's,
a
I
fucking
think.
gimmick though, dude. I don't think
That's what
he
I'm.
was.
That's what I'm getting at. He's more of a gimmick to me than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, what are we to say? This guy
Yeah.
played in the major leagues, but still, I mean, like we're
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
it is what
one,
it is. The guy
they're
was a
the
fu-
1% of baseball players throughout
he's
the
a fu-
entire
He
world.
was a fucking gimmick. If he didn't have that, I doubt he would have made it.
So good for him
Yeah,
then, I
probably
guess.
Because I was watching 61 last night, and I just remembered a part of the movie where Yogi goes, "Oh, you're ambidextrio." So we said this was pretty much the A lineup with Voit out. It's no secret to anybody that's listening to the show. I'm not a big Aaron Hicks guy.
No,
And Aaron Hicks should not be hitting third.
no.
Not and definitely not when there's a lefty on the mound. Aaron Hicks is fucking utterly atrocious as a right-handed hitter. I'm sorry. You could back it up with any fucking stats you want. I have these two things right here that they fucking work pretty damn good, even at my old age. He sucks right-handed. He doesn't have the same approach at the plate.
No.
He doesn't have the same patience at the plate, and he does not have the same power at the plate. These are three things you want to. I can take a lot of shots at Aaron Hicks for a lot of different things. He's a as a left-handed hitter. I do like him because he does have good patience. He does
Plays
have
well at the stadium.
he does have good plate discipline, and his swing does play well at Yankee Stadium. Those are three things that he does not have when he bats right-handed. He's not the, if you want to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe I could say Hicks is a 7 as a lefty hitter. He's a
What
fucking
you rated
2.
him.
He's a fucking 2 as a right-handed hitter. He should not be hitting second, or I mean, should not be hitting third when he's batting right-handed. You want to keep him in the lineup? Ninth. Or put him on the fucking bench.
Here's the irony with that. That same reason you think he shouldn't be third in the lineup is the exact reason why he is third in the lineup.
Because he's
to have-
ambidextro.
Yeah, to have that guy, to have a guy from both sides of the plate, considering they literally don't have any lefties other than him in the starting lineup. Well, Bruce now, but here's what I got to say.
Is it written in stone that he can't be moved around though? Like if
No,
if
here's
they're
what I'm
facing a
going to
lefty?
say to back your point of why he's so good in the 9-hole. What's the number one thing you want out of your ninth hitter?
To have a pretend cardboard camera in the dugout.
The number one thing you want out of your ninth hitter is to turn the lineup over, no matter what situation you're in, unless you're in the National League, you have a DH. But the ninth hitter in the American League needs to be a guy who can turn the lineup over. And I feel like Hicks is, he's great lefty and whatever, but Hicks's biggest strength is getting on base, right? That's been his biggest strength so far in what he's done offensively. And he's a guy that with DJ ahead of him, either he works a good count and gets on base and turns that lineup over, or he's seeing better pitches that he can hit because the pitcher doesn't want to turn that lineup over and get to DJ. And then Aaron Judge, and then all the big monsters coming up. So, like, I think the 3-hole is so counterproductive to have him there. It really is, because, you have G behind him, but you already plowed through DJ and Judge. If you had him ninth, which is what he profiles to me as a 9-hitter, it's just much more effective at the bottom of the lineup.
When you look at his splits, just looking at from last year, like Christian said, how he is he has a total different approach when he's hitting versus left-handed pitching. Versus a righty, he would profile as a 3-hitter, but versus a lefty, it's a completely different hitter. I mean, he only had 2 home runs in 84 and 79 at bats last year against lefties, 10 home runs in 142. He struck out less. He hit more, but
I want to know
more
his on base
singles and contact.
percentage. What's
It
his
was
on base
lower.
percentage?
It's lower. Last year was 298 versus left.
Give me the year before. Give me the year before, because I want to take a full season out of it. I'd really like to know his on base percentage as a lefty versus a righty.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to be the most
on
important.
I'll see, but 2019 he only played in 59 games, so it's hard.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He was hurt that much in 2019.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
He only played in 59 games. That's not right. I thought he played more than that.
Yeah, no, I guess no. That's right.
All right, then go. You could check my sources, bro. You can fact check me.
Fuck
if you
your
want,
sources.
Who's your
bro.
source? Who's your source? Drunk
All
Fred.
right, so
Sources.
you can go back to 2018. He played. Oh, maybe I did have that wrong.
Maybe
Oh, that's
just-
right. That's right. Didn't he have Tommy? No, he didn't have Tommy John in 2019. He had it going into 2020. That's what's right.
Well, who
He's
cares?
on base.
Give me his
in
career.
in
then.
the last full season.
Yeah,
you
that's
keep
fine.
tell-
That's fine.
You keep
No,
telling
that's
me
fine.
to do
That's
one
fine.
thing and then
Sorry,
you're giving me
bud.
something else.
Sorry, brother.
Don't trigger me.
TGR now.
Sorry, trigger guy rap.
But you gotta be,
All right, just give me
logical
that
here.
then. I'll take
so
that.
383 on base percentage versus righties in 2018. I was in 133
Which is still pretty
games.
good.
And then it was 325 versus lefties. So
That doesn't
that was
make
a
any
good.
sense. That just goes completely against what we just said.
Versus lefties, no. When he's on the right hand side, he's not as good getting on base.
I thought he said versus.
But what it shows what you said is that he's a completely different type of hitter. That's the thing. He's not the same power hitter from the left side, or on the right side. He isn't that power hitter that he is from the left side. So that means he doesn't profile as that 3-hitter, like, which is the point you're really making.
Yeah,
So
but you said his never mind.
so in his career, okay, his on base percentage versus lefty pitchers and righty pitchers is virtually the same. So that goes back to my point then that that's his biggest strength. That's why he should be ninth. He should be turning the lineup over to DJ LeMahieu.
He just doesn't seem he doesn't have the same patience to me. I don't know.
We went from going from your 3-hitter is your best hitter in the lineup to no, your 2-hitter is and your streakiest hitter is your 3-hitter in the lineup.
All right, who cares? Fuck Aaron Hicks. I don't care anymore.
Okay.
You brought up DJ LeMahieu, which was interesting because as soon as Michael K said this, I knew this was gonna fucking happen, and it did. That K said that LeMahieu struggled in because after he got robbed in his second at bat. There was a great play by Simeon to rob them of to rob him of a hit and an RBI there, and he went over and he was 0 for 2 at that point. And K had said that he had struggled in the preseason. He hit like 216, and I said, you know what? If DJ LeMahieu doesn't get a hit today, people are going to start questioning the contract because K brought this up. And I'm not saying K did it intentionally, but he could have done it intentionally because K's not stupid. There's a lot of things Michael K is, and one of them's not stupid. Okay. And he brought that up. And then, DJ took an O for today. And what do you see on social media afterwards? Well, I hope this isn't really what DJ LeMahieu is. He got paid now, and now we're going to be stuck with him for 6 years. Again, it's one fucking game. Even DJ LeMahieu can take an O for. Like, seriously.
Yeah, and that's like
And again, what does DJ LeMahieu have to do to prove himself to these fucking people? The guy was an MVP candidate. This guy, nobody wanted him. The Yankees were called. We went over this 100 times. The Yankees cheap. They were out to get. Who the fuck is DJ LeMahieu? I never heard of him. Why are we going getting this guy instead of Manny Machado? DJ LeMahieu comes out. He only plays like a fucking top 5 player in the sport for the last 2 fucking years, and now he takes an 0-4 because
his integrity.
And now, and then he didn't look, we were thinking this guy's going to be getting $20-25 million a year. The guy's basically making fucking Burger King wage to stay as a fucking Yankee. And then he's got to hear this shit is about, fucking now he sucks now. Right. Why? Because he took an 0-4 on opening day.
No, it's this, and it's this in a nutshell. And it just goes back and proves why our culture is in why our society's in such like a fucking crazy phase right now. It's because when something is said that can stick, like what Michael K said, all logic and all reason goes out the window. So instead of people saying, okay, I am hearing Michael K, and I hope that isn't true, but let me go back and think about how I feel about DJ myself as a person and as a player and what he's proven to me. He's proven to me that he is someone who wants to be here, who doesn't want to play for any other team, who fucking puts his head down, carries the team on his back, and does anything he can to win and to be out there every single day and to win and not get caught up in the bullshit. That's what a logical person in that moment in time would do. But instead, they heard something that was easier for them to do instead of think for themselves, and they ran with it. If you are questioning DJ LeMahieu's integrity right now and that he doesn't give a fuck anymore because he signed a contract, you do not use your brain properly.
Or, like now he sucks now. Like, dude, we should have let him go. We shouldn't have paid him. Like, now he sucks. He had 216 in the fucking spring training.
What's easier to do? Echo what Michael K says during
Be a fucking parrot. Be a fucking parrot.
God, Michael K.
Echo what someone says that you heard that you might agree with, or actually think about how you feel about
Probably want a cracker.
And also, if you were watching the game too, he was robbed of a base hit by a really nice play by Marcus
said that.
Semien.
Exactly.
Yes. And that would have been a big base hit too.
I don't listen to you guys.
The Yankees probably would have won the game if he
and
comes through with
Semien
that.
isn't even a second baseman. Like, the dude's a shortstop.
Yankees have to really. Yes Network really has to take a long, hard. They really need to evaluate their contract with Michael K. I think it's time to move on, man, because
and not Ryan Ruocco either, because he's so
but not even about Ruocco. It's about I was never this way with Michael K. I always kind of I can't say I was a fan of him. But I always defended him. But it's just, dude, you got to come up with new phrases, man. You have to. It's too much. It's too cringy. He starts the game the same way. Garrett Cole's ready. Whoever let off So's over. Let's do it. And then you got the extra innings. What's he pop out with? Bonus Cantos. Come up with a new phrase, dude. You got to come up with a new script. I can't take it anymore. It's making me. It
Well,
cringes and it ruins.
you know
It
what
almost ruins
I
the
start
game.
except for
noticed
today
too?
because I forgot what the episode we were on. I start the show the same way every day. Should you want me to change things up, Ryan? Do you want me to?
No, that's
Well,
different.
but we've only done 222 episodes,
No,
Christian.
that's
This guy's
different.
been doing it since 1995.
And that's different. We're doing a show for people. People are tuning in to
Yeah.
This is
we're
actually
giving
the
them the
tw-
content. Michael K's not
believe
giving us
it-
the content.
And
Believe
what's
it or,
like? It's
believe
not
it
a
or not,
script.
this. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm good. Go ahead. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, this starts the 20th season of K
I
doing
know, it's
games,
crazy.
games on
Well,
TV.
Crazy.
you know what?
Ryan's
Like
so triggered
then
right
the
now,
20th
Christian.
season, because think about it, right? The Yankees are known for this. Let's part ways. They parted ways with Joe Torre, Joe Girardi. They parted ways after he almost made the World Series. Like
But
it's
Ryan,
time to part ways.
I have good news for you. Michael
Uh-huh.
K did incorporate a new thing today. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
anyone else caught it but me. But I'm always listening to K when he's always complaining about the length of games and how long he has to be
Unmanageable.
there. Unmanageable 4 hours and whatever. Guess what his new thing is?
Uh.
Telling us how long the replay took in delaying the game.
Oh yeah, when he
That's
says,
his
like,
new
it was-
thing. He goes, well, that replay
Took 1
was
minute and
3
38
minutes and
seconds.
So that's his new thing now. He's going to tell us how long the
All
delay
right.
was.
Well,
All right, let's move along to a couple other things today. Let's talk about Garrett Cole, who obviously is a bum and he's not worth the money
He
either.
was pissed. He was fucking. He was as angry as you should be if you gave up an Aroldis Chapman, walk off in the postseason.
I just want to talk about his performance today. I'd say he had his B minus stuff on the mound today, and he was still pretty good.
It's tough for me to evaluate it because I think at some points he had his B minus stuff, but when he got into a rhythm in the middle innings that he was pitching, he was fucking on top of his game.
I still don't think he had his best. I don't think he had anywhere
So
near his top.
overall, no. But I think at some point when you saw him get into a rhythm after he gave up that run and then really settled in, after he gave up those hits and whatever, he was fucking filthy, dude. You can't tell me he wasn't on top of his game. He was hitting 99.
No, but I don't think I don't think he ever hit 99. I think he was
Yes, he
topping
did.
around at like
No,
maybe
he,
once.
he topped out at 99.
No, I think he was sitting at 97 today, which is not his best fastball.
97,
no.
98, I saw a lot too.
Of course you did, because the rest of us
You
saw
were
97.
distracted.
So
You
saw
admitted
98.
it. You
I
admitted
couldn't
it
tell
to us that you were distracted with your daughter. Like you had to keep an eye on the baby. So
Yeah, I missed that much of the game. You're right.
yeah.
well,
So
and he
I'm
gave
telling
up. He
you,
gave
looked
up
good.
three straight singles in that second inning. It looked like it might have.
Right, and that's the thing about him. That's the thing about Garrett Cole. He gives it 3 straight singles, allows a run, and then that's it. He shuts the
Yeah.
door on the guy. That's an ace right there. That's
And
an
ju-
ace right there.
And just when you thought he wasn't going to give you that infamous solo shot,
Yeah,
he
so
made
then-
sure to squeak it in there right before he got taken out of the game.
Right, and he did, and it's still not that big of a deal. He gave
He
up
gave
2
up
runs.
2 runs.
2 runs.
He gave up 2 runs over 5 and a third. Here's the one thing I didn't, because again, I didn't. How much did we really see Garrett Cole when he was in Houston? I thought he was a lot more efficient than he is. He seems to be approaching 100 pitches going into the 6th inning every fucking time he's out there.
Here's the thing. We're just so
Is that a Yankee thing? Or
No, no, we're so conditioned at this point to worry about pitch count. And what you need to know about Garrett Cole is he's an old school type of guy when it comes to that, and the organization allows him to be because they know he can sustain it. And when it comes to Garrett Cole, you really can't be looking, at least when you get into the middle of the season and then forward, you just don't look at pitch count with him. It doesn't matter what his pitch count is. It's all about the eye test at that point.
Yeah,
And I
but
thought
there's-
Aaron Boone pulled him at the right moment today.
Right. I don't have a problem with when Aaron Boone pulled him either today. But again, this is a guy that if you really want him to go 7 or 8 innings, he can't be around 100 pitches in the 6th inning.
No, but he can because he'll throw 130 for
No,
you.
he's not going to throw 130. When does he throw
Verlander.
130 pitches?
Okay.
Not in April.
You
though, I
guys,
don't
you guys do whatever you got to do for a few minutes, and while you're talking,
Tell
I'm
me
going to look up his
okay.
pitch counts of last year.
Yeah, right.
If
You
he
do
hit
that.
it, so what's your cap at the most amount of pitches you think he hit? Last year?
120.
Okay, I still think that's pretty significant. What other pitcher in recent
Because
years?
but he's an ace. There's a difference. Giving they allow him the
And
extra 20 pitches.
if I'm wrong,
Nothing's gonna.
I will admit it. I will apologize to you.
Uh-huh.
I will bow down to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm right,
Mm-hmm.
you take back every fucking negative thing you've ever said about
That
me.
will never happen because
Okay.
we don't have enough time in the day for that to happen.
Okay.
Nick Nelson, 1 inning pitch, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. He gets the loss.
Yeah, you know
What
what?
is-
Nick Nelson, other than that first base hit that scored the Little League runner on second to start the inning,
Unbelievable.
which again, not blaming. I just want to make this clear because I tweeted it. I'm not blaming the Yankees' loss because there was that imaginary runner on second that got there somehow before the inning started. Because the Yankees had the same opportunity to score that runner the next inning, and they had multiple opportunities to score more runs throughout the game. That is not why they lost. But that doesn't take away the fact that it is the fucking most embarrassing rule of any professional sport in all major sports
Hey,
by far.
You know
and,
what?
and I just want to say this, and what I'm about to say does not, I'm not saying this because they lost and I'm being bitter. If that stupid fucking runner wasn't there and you just take Nick Nelson's inning for what it was, other than that hit, he fucking dialed it in and he looked good. Like he fucking got out of it and he wouldn't have given up any runs.
Mhm.
So you can't really blame him.
And David Cohn said on the broadcast, he said, out of all the things that they negotiated and they couldn't come to an agreement on, this is the fucking thing that they agreed upon.
Right. It's so weird. And Cohn, I couldn't fully hear him, but I think he was saying like this has no place in Major League Baseball.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's
It
a
doesn't.
joke.
And for all of you sitting there and saying like it's just a fucking runner on second, no, like no. Again, it goes back to just being lazy and not wanting to think. Right? It's just there, so it doesn't matter. No, this is a fucking game I love that I have passion for. It's not even about the Yankees when it comes to shit like that.
You know, this whole thing came across last year because they wanted to shorten the games because now, COVID, they signed a contract with COVID-19 that said that you're allowed to play 3 hours and 5 minutes. If you play longer than that, then COVID's going to come get you. Then they also had an amendment in the contract. They were allowed to play 9 full innings. And then if they played 10, then COVID was going to come out. So they said, we can't have the game go longer than 10 innings. We got to come up with something. We're going to stick a runner at second base.
Mhm.
Instead, if you're so damn worried about the games running long, just end them in a fucking tie.
So Stack I was saying before you got on. today.
Yeah, just
I-
end it in the top.
I cannot tell you how much I would fucking hate a tie in baseball, but I can 100% tell you I would rather games end in a tie than have this bullshit because it's Mickey Mouse. It's literally
let's-
bullshit.
Let's have a home run derby in the 10th from now on.
I don't know if you
We get a hitter, you get a hitter.
I don't know if you saw me. I replied to this in the thread of my original tweet about this. But I was like, what does Boone do? He's like, all right, guys, who made the last out last inning? Judge? Okay, Judgy, you're out at second.
Put your
The
helmet
only
on.
time you should ever hear who made the last out is in fucking Little League when you have the speed up rule for the catcher who's on base with 2 outs or the pitcher.
Yeah.
Like that's what my brain goes to. Judge is out there. What if Judge fucking gets hurt? He's not supposed to be out there in real fucking baseball land. That's ridiculous. And I'll tell you this, and someone said to us, like, if the Yankees would benefit from this or if they won, we wouldn't hate it as much. I'd probably hate it fucking more, to be honest, because the way I feel about it does not have anything to do with how it affects the Yankees. And the way I feel about it is that it's a cheap fucking bullshit thing. And if the Yankees were winning games on it, I'd actually feel like I was being friggin' rigged of an actual win.
Right, because I found a tweet from February 8th where I tweeted about how much I hated it. So clearly it has
Yeah, but
nothing
that
to
doesn't
do.
matter.
Oh,
It doesn't
proving
matter
somebody.
for people.
Oh, it doesn't fit their narrative, right?
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So the only thing that I think came out of today that was more embarrassing than how the fans acted is a question that somebody asked Boone in the post game today, and they
Mhm.
asked Aaron Boone if he was worried about his offense.
Well, let's just be. I like to be accurate on things. Was the context of the question? Were you worried mid game about your offense, lack of offense, that you were worried that you weren't going to win, or was it? Are you worried about your offense moving forward?
Can I find the? Let me find this here.
Because just like to be accurate, because if the question was, were you worried you weren't going to win the game, given that your offense had so many?
Aaron
missed
Boone was
opportunities?
asked if he's concerned about the Yankees offense after struggling today and through the end of spring training. Aaron's answer, no, we'll be fine.
I honestly, if I was Aaron Boone, and I know he's not this kind of guy, but I would
No, I would've walked out.
literally, I would look at
I
the,
would spit at the camera and walked out.
I would have looked at the reporter and said, "Why do you have a job?" If that's a true
Really?
question.
That's
What I would have said. That's exactly what I would. And I know he's not that kind of guy, and he's not going to represent the team that way. And they hired him
out.
because of that. But that's exactly what I would have said. Why is?
I would
how
have
is
been like
that
an
a
old
question?
school Italian. I would have spit in the fucking camera and said, "Disgraziata puttana," and I would have walked out.
Fangul. La Fangul.
You fucking disgraceful whore.
Yeah.
Your mother is a fucking.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
not Ryan's mother, my mother. All right, and I was wrong about Garrett Cole, guys. I bowed down to Christian. It looks like at least
And,
through to
and SGR,
2017,
I was on board.
he's capped out at like 116 pitches.
That was
He
all
threw a
last
lot.
year.
That was
He
all
threw a lot
through 20 since 2017. I
Houston.
went back.
He never even
Did-
threw
did-
120 in the past
Did
4
you
years.
did you have postseason included there?
No,
Yeah. See, he threw like over 120.
Yeah, but that doesn't
one of those
count.
games for Houston.
That
but
doesn't
here's the
count.
thing with Cole. Just to go back to it real quick. I guess what I should have said was you don't worry about longer innings with him because you see him get back into that rhythm, and then he will go back to being efficient for a couple innings.
Uh-huh.
So even if he's at 100
Nah.
pitches in the sixth, he could come out in the seventh and have a six
Yeah.
pitch inning.
Shut up, peasant.
Yeah, Chad Green come in 1 pitch, 2 outs.
Greeny.
That was pretty efficient.
I was a
Solid.
little surprised by that they had O'Day in the closer's role. but
No,
guess
I,
it doesn't
I
matter.
think Cone made a good point, and I was saying this right when Green came in, because my wife was actually asking me, shouldn't he be the closer? Like, wouldn't he be the guy to be?
Yeah,
like-
because your wife knows that stuff.
Yes, she does. I swear. She said
No,
she
women are-
asked me that. Oh, right. We
W-
do not respect women.
Not
They do
respect-
not. According to some of our listeners, we don't have that kind of respect for
Somebody
women.
emailed me and said, you know what, you're just playing up your persona when you tell
Right.
Chris's wife to get the fuck out of the room.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I said, you damn right, bro.
Damn right. You gotta rep. Gotta rep. So I was like, yeah, he probably would, but you know what? This was a moment, and I thought this was a great move by Boone, and I really liked it. He used him as the fire extinguisher at that point. He knew he couldn't let that inning get away, or else you wouldn't be using Chad Green anyway.
I think his initial plan was to take Cole out with the lead still, and he
it
wanted
was.
to.
It was. But
But
he didn't, and who cares? He brought Green in to save that inning, and he fucking did a great job.
I think
obviously.
for one game, you don't want to make too much out of it, but I think Boone did a good job managing the game.
he
today,
really
especially-
did.
Well, I'll say another part that I liked with Boone was
Well-
going pinch running Talkman
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
because
right. Yeah, okay, Ryan, you were probably fucking
Yeah,
kicking
yeah,
air
you're
at that
right.
point, bro.
No, well, what that did though is in my head, it's like, oh, well, I guess they're not worried about stealing here. I get, they're just
And then he
having a
steals
faster
2
guy.
bases.
Then he steals 2 bases. So that might have been a move where he goes to the, the guy who profiles not as the faster guy
And-
to throw off the Blue Jays. And
You know what? And I really wanted Frazier to come through there, but that was a good at bat by him. Not
It was a great at bat.
yeah.
he took his shot, he swung through it, and then he had really good approach from.
I was
from-
gonna say a sign of a great at bat for me, like a true pure great at bat, is when you see a guy kind of take his shot, like Frazier did, and he swung and missed, and then he really settles in and goes to the fallback plan of let me just be a fucking solid guy at the plate here and try and find a way to get on base. Something that the guy before him did not do at all in Aaron Judge in that at bat. I mean, to me, if you were going to boot anyone today, it would have been Aaron Judge over anyone
Okay.
because his approaches at the plate, obviously he had a base hit, but
Now Ryan's got a Woody because we're going to talk about
some of
Aaron Judge now.
some of his approaches at the plate today in big spots, again, not a big deal. It's the first fucking game of the season. I have no worries about Judge. I'm just, again, going back to context of hating Stanton. if he should have hated anyone, it should have been Judge because he came up in some of the biggest spots and looked fucking lost.
Yeah, I mean the one big at bat there was when he took a fastball right down the fucking middle
Down the fucking
Right.
that he
middle.
should have hit
Right.
500 feet, and then he
Oh.
grounds into a double play there. That was a big turning point in the game right there.
Oh.
But Ryan, you know you don't like Aaron Judge to talk, and after the game he put all the blame.
Frozen.
Oh, you froze.
I'm gonna
Should
get he put all the blame on himself. He said he froze.
Yeah, he paraphrasing. He
Good.
said,
He should. It was all his fault.
"Shut the fuck up." What did he do to you? What did he do to you?
I don't want to talk about it. All right.
Talk.
You know,
Oh,
we
that.
bring, he wants to be on the show. And then I've invited him on the show a dozen times, and then he never ends up being on it. So he's all fucking yap. But my buddy Peranti, we talk about him all the time. He used to have. He's a Met fan though, right? So I get he doesn't like the Yankees, but he had this what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he just had like this over the top fucking hatred of Jorge Posada. And it's like,
Unwarranted.
yeah, it was just like, I don't get it. Like, I understand.
Nice, bro.
Unwarranted is not even really the word. There's a different word.
Irrational.
Irrational. That's the word. It's like this irrational fucking
Gave you
hate
2 words.
of,
Yeah.
but irrational was probably the word.
Unwarrantedly irrational.
And it's just like, I get it. You're not a Yankee fan. You're a Met fan. So you hate, but like the way he would speak about Jorge Posada. And then I find out that he went to a Yankee game and he asked Posada for an autograph, and Posada turned him down.
Oh yeah.
So
There you go.
So what?
Peranti would be one of those guys.
So what is your reason, Ryan? What is your reason? Like, what happened between
You know what
and
it
Aaron?
is? I'll tell you what Ryan's reason is, and
Yeah,
I
talk
think it's
for me, bro.
justified.
You know I
Aaron,
love when you talk for me.
Here's why I'm justifying how you feel, but now I'm going to tell you really deep down why it's not justified, why it's irrational in itself.
Okay.
I think the underlying hatred, that we call
I
air
don't
quotes,
care,
hate,
yeah.
I know, but you're tough on Judge because
I am. I'll say that.
he's the face of the team. He's the face of Major League Baseball, but he hasn't walked the walk yet. He's talked the talk behind closed doors. He's been that guy. He's on the cover of MLB The Show. He's fucking got his own chambers out in the outfield,
Mhm.
but he hasn't proven shit to us yet. But here's why it's a little irrational on your part. Aaron Judge did not ask for any of that. The Yankees prematurely gave that to him, which we've never really seen them do for anyone before. They gave that to him. Why? Because they were missing that.
They were desperate.
They were desperate. And so Aaron Judge didn't ask to be this guy, and he's trying to get there. How is he going to do it? How is he finally going to bring it full circle? Staying healthy and being a leader on the
100%.
field.
But again, like we talked some about what you said a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this guy's legacy. You said he hasn't but when he's on the field, he has proven it. His problem is that he's not on the field.
No. I mean proving it in a sense of when you think of Derek Jeter, what do you think of?
He's my biracial angel.
Is he? I like that.
That's from a movie, right?
I have no idea. I've never heard
I-
it. Must
I
have been
didn't come-
from the 70s.
No, the quote from Rocky is when he says, "I didn't come to Vegas to lose," and he says, "What is that from?" He goes, "What is that from the '80s? It's probably the '70s."
Hey,
I got a
biracial the guy Derek Jeter.
If you had to describe Derek
No,
Jeter
I
in
think that
one
was
word,
from the other guy. No, was it the other guys? He was in the other guys.
I don't fucking know.
Oh,
Listen,
maybe they were talking about Jeter because they remember.
I definitely did not come up with that on my own. Somebody that's from a movie. That
would you
line is
listen to
from
me for a
movie.
second?
No, shut up.
If you had to describe Derek Jeter,
bow to
yes.
your king.
It was the other guys.
It was
It was
the
the
other.
other
guy.
okay,
guys, yes.
so thank you.
You're welcome.
If you had to describe Derek Jeter with one word as a Yankee, what would it be?
Stud.
What was his legacy? What was Derek Jeter's legacy?
He won.
He fucking won.
Yeah, winner.
He
I don't know.
he was a winner. He was a champion. Aaron Judge, until he does that, is not proven on the level that the Yankees have put him at. I'm not saying he hasn't proven himself to be a great baseball player. He's fucking phenomenal. He's one of the best baseball players in the game right now,
Ugh.
hands down. In every part of his game.
Yeah.
but
I
he has not
I
to
hate
be at the
critiquing
level
him.
here. Here's the level where the Yankees put him, and here's the level where he's at until he wins a World Series.
Would
And
Derek Jeter
can't
have
level
blasted
that.
New York, New York? Would he have blasted New York, New York, and walked past,
Okay,
strolled
now
past
but
the
now
Boston
we're
Red
talking
Sox
about
clubhouse?
the person, not the player.
But both persons represent the exact same thing, and that's the face of the New York Yankees. So yes,
What
and
if the
both
Yankees
players
went on to win a
didn't-
World
both
Series after he
players-
did that?
Oh, then
Then
you're
it doesn't
walking
matter,
the walk,
right?
dude.
So it
no,
goes
but
back
then
to what I
you're
said
hard-
though.
But
It's
then,
about him walking the
but
walk.
still, right? Yeah, and I agree with that. But
You
it
only
doesn't
mind the
change.
talk until he backs it up.
Of course, and I
so
feel
it
like
comes
that's
down to winning.
yeah. I mean, I think that's I've been pretty vocal about that. That you can't be that type of player without having the resume to back it up, and he doesn't have that resume yet.
Agreed.
I hate saying it, but that's just if you're gonna compare him to Derek Jeter, then I'm
Derek
gonna
Jeter.
have to call him out on it. He didn't choose to be the face of the Yankees, but you don't
he
choose these
is.
kinds of things.
But he is. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
All right, there. We'll take Tony and Brooklyn. Go ahead.
Christian, you got anything else, or you want me to wrap it up for you?
You're quiet today, Christian. You're quiet today.
No, because Chris
He's distracted.
Chris has decided that he wants to just talk now.
No,
Hey,
I'm done.
Chris, let's give a shout out to Chris. He was on ESPN and what was that, Buffalo? ESPN?
No, Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse. Excuse me.
Me and Christian are
was
really
thinking of the
big.
Blue Jays today.
If we go to Syracuse or Akron, I mean, Christian's a fucking superstar in Akron. They actually have a whole fucking rotunda for him.
I might be getting a statue this year.
That's actually awesome.
Hell yeah.
Anywhere else in the world, no one knows who the fuck we are, but in Akron and Syracuse, I'm starting to work my way up to fame there.
All right. Well, that boy.
So Randall Grichuk sunk the Yankees in the 10th inning here. It's like he
What
doesn't
else is
hit.
new,
I
man?
mean, him and Danny Jansen are fucking terrible baseball players, but they turn into
They
like
kill
fucking
the Yankees.
He
turn
is a
in-
Yankee killer.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what they do to beat the Yankees, but
Yeah, it's
something. Here's some experimental. I just came across as I was trying to bring up a tweet here. Experimental rule changes in the 2021 minor leagues. AAA, they were going to with larger bases, with a less slippery
No.
surface. In AA, all four infielders must be positioned on the infield dirt, so you can't have drastic
my God.
overshifts. High A, pitchers must step off the rubber before they attempt a pickoff throw.
What?
Yeah. A pitcher must step off the rubber before attempting a pickoff throw. In low A, there are a limit of 2 pickoff attempts per plate appearance.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Also in low A, they have a
That's
15.
a joke. Wait.
I
One we got to
honestly,
break
get
down.
this
Can you
guy
say
outta
that?
here.
Can you say that? Can you say that last one again?
Yeah. And they're in low A, they have a limit of 2 pickoff attempts per plate appearance.
But what's stopping then
Is
after
this
the second
let me
one? That
ask you
guy's
this.
going to take a massive lead and just take the base
Again.
once the guy lifts his leg.
I like to have all the facts before we just go assuming. Is this experimental in a sense of how can we maybe speed up minor league games right now to?
This is to see how it works before they implement it at the major
Okay,
league
so
level.
this is in the experimental phase of like maybe we can implement.
I just
it
said experimental rule changes.
for MLB level,
These are
like to
this is
eventually
why
be.
this is why they implement them. They want to see how they work, if they can actually implement them at the big
Right,
league
yeah,
level.
I guess,
Also
yeah.
at the low A level, there's a 15-second pitch clock, and they have went to automated balls and strikes.
Look, we could do a whole fucking show on this, so we can't even get into all this shit right now.
But I just
But
wanted
that's
to bring
just
that up.
awful. That's just fucking. Oh God.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show to break all of that
What
down.
was the second one you read? I felt like I just had something quick to say.
All four infielders must be positioned on
Okay.
the infield dirt.
Okay. That is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Part of playing the game sometimes is being all the way back. If you have a fucking power hitter who pulls the ball and you can't allow, if there's a runner on second, you can't allow a double in the gap. You're playing all the way back and on the line. Here's my solution to that I've been saying for years. You want to implement a rule? Here's the fucking rule. If you're playing at third base, you can be anywhere you want. Back, close, wherever, but you have to be to the right of the person who is designated as the shortstop. Same goes for shortstop. You want to play all the way over to the first base side, fine, but you have to be to
I like that.
the right of the
Like
second baseman.
an alignment rule.
It's almost like when runners can't overlap each other. If your
I like that,
position
actually.
is a third baseman or a shortstop, you can't overlap the guy to your left. And that's it. There you go. Done.
That's a cool rule.
All
It's
right.
a way to do
You
it.
guys want to get to the tweeter?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
We're
tweety,
running
tweety.
fucking long.
Derek Tweeta.
Derek Tweeta.
All right. So basically, I just asked today, and it's an unofficial Twitter question, but I said, has today's game changed your opinion of the 2021 Yankees? So we'll start off with at Stadium Status, the other Ryan. He said he walked in the house today. Gloria asked him, bad day at work? He says, Yankees lost. Gloria says, it's the first game. Me, as in Ryan, I know, but still sucks. Gloria, I'm sure your boyfriends on the podcast will cheer you up when they stop crying. God, I feel sorry for their wives. They're fucking losers.
Okay.
So she's talking to you two there, not me.
I wish we had a little more time for this because I have more to say and maybe I'll let it out more on the next show. But Gloria, here's how much you don't know us. Okay. There are so many things you can feel bad for our wives about being with us. This is not one of them. Okay. So you need to get your facts together and come at us. Here's my offer to Gloria and Ryan.
Wow, triggered Chris.
Here's my offer since this is the final season of the NYYST podcast.
Triggered. Now Chris is triggered.
You want to talk shit, Gloria? We'll set it up with Ryan. I'll send him a link to one of our shows, and you guys can sit on your couch together and get your phone up, whatever, and you can be on the show with us, and we'll have a discussion face to face via Zoom here, and then we'll talk. That's my challenge to you. If you want to accept it, I'd be glad to have you on.
Wow, that's the ult. You know, we always joke about no one gets triggered like a Stacy. Wow, you were fucking triggered, bro.
Triggered like a motherfucker just now.
I thought you were gonna have a little fun with the comment. You're just like, yo, let's fucking.
No, you want to know why?
Steel cage match. Let's fucking
Let's
go.
go. No, I
throw-
would have had more fun with it if we had like more. If we weren't running long now, I would have definitely.
No bullshit, dude. You could.
But then I thought I was like, you know what? Having some people on would be cool. So that's my challenge to Gloria.
No, you're triggered. You're mad.
And I'm fucking mad and triggered. Yeah, of
You
course.
brought your wife into this.
Let's do cage matches with the wives and Gloria. That would be
ref.
fun. I think
I'm the ref.
I think Gloria could kick our asses.
Ryan's gonna get his ass kicked when he plays this in the kitchen on Friday morning.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to tell him I said that. Florida man gets stabbed in the neck with fork.
Yeah. Fuck.
Anyway, Andrew Coleman. No way.
Andrew Cuomo?
No.
We got the governor.
The governor's
The
tweet?
governor.
The
No,
governor.
Andrew Coleman says
Coleman.
no way. Stay positive and we'll eventually get number 28. And then here's one of the weirdest comments we've ever received in the 5 years of doing this show. Just like eventually my dad will come home.
Wait, that was at the end of that whole tweet there? That's
Yes,
how
he says
ended
stay
it?
positive and eventually we'll
Too
get
close
number
to the mic.
28.
Too close to the mic.
I'm like fucking 6 inches
Oh my
away.
God.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
No,
6
you're
inches.
too. Now you're good.
Yeah,
Say
you
it
gotta
again. I want to
distance.
hear
Okay.
all of it.
You know what? Your mother.
Your mother.
Watch
Stay
that.
positive and eventually we'll get number 28, just like eventually my dad will come home.
That is so good. Like, I don't know if he's joking or if that's a serious comment. I'm going to assume because I think he was rational up until that point that he wouldn't be someone who would put that on if it was a serious thing. Maybe it is. Maybe he likes to joke about it. Therefore, I think he meant it for us to laugh at. I'm going to laugh. Fucking hilarious.
So is he
Great
saying
job.
the Yankees aren't going to win because his dad never came home?
They're eventually gonna win.
But eventually his dad's going to come home.
Yeah, his dad'll come home.
And if I'm looking at the picture correctly, this dude looks like he's fucking 40. Okay, so unless his dad went out last week.
He's got daddy issues. Okay.
Daddy.
Daddy issues don't leave you.
All right,
Um,
here we go with Road Dog.
Road dog.
This is not your
Mom.
mom.
First we had an Andrew Cuomo burner. Now my mom is tweeting.
He says, yes, our offense was extremely inefficient without Voigt in the
Yes.
lineup. Too many Ks up and down. Glaber was a major letdown.
I just can't stress this point enough right now. I know I usually have certain phrases that I say in the beginning of the show and I just keep saying them over and over. That's my phrase of this show. If you are truly sitting there and saying after one game, now if you want to sit there and say, given the history of the Yankees over the last handful of years and them not striking out too much and them not being able to come through runners in scoring position, yeah, this worries me because I hope they don't go down that same path. Okay. But these people, what they're saying is, yes, I'm worried after one game of this offense. If you are truly thinking that, I cannot comprehend your stupidity and how you rationalize anything in your life. How could you be worried after one game?
And how do you think Luke Voigt is the fucking linchpin to all of this?
Yeah.
Like, that was like, yeah, you know what? Chris thinks I hate Luke Voigt. I don't hate Luke Voigt, especially certainly not at the plate. But you mean to tell me that Luke Voigt is the missing piece to this fucking lineup?
And
No.
and just to say too, like when I say like your stupidity,
No,
in this
you're-
moment, I'm saying you're stupid. And I don't think you may be an awesome person. I'm not judging you on that. I'm saying in this moment, with that statement, with those feelings, they are irrational and stupid. That is not an opinion. That's a fact. That's a fact.
I mean, it is because it's 162 games. So one game,
Right.
yes. Did they show signs of like, oh man, like you said, are they going to go down this path again? Yeah, but they also showed signs of their ace only allowing 2 runs. They showed their
Guess
signs
wh-
of Gary Sanchez hitting a ding.
Guess what else would be stupid? Stupid. If they all
What?
went 5 for 5 today with 100 home runs and saying this team is the greatest fucking team
Right.
ever.
Just answering yes to that question in general,
And also-
regardless of the outcome today.
I say a lot of and feel a lot of stupid fucking things too. And guess what other
Yeah,
people do?
totally,
They point
yeah.
them out to me. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that because then I
Sure.
can rethink. So I'm
Yeah.
pointing out to you as a service to you if you're listening.
Yeah, you got to reevaluate that thought.
And
You have to reevaluate it.
Road Dog, did
Come on, Road
Glaber
Dog.
not sign? Did
Come on,
Glaber not
Mom.
sign an autograph for you?
Yeah.
Because what?
Is he
Why
about
would
to
you
rip
si-
him?
single out Glaber Torres of all people? I mean, yeah, nobody had outside of Gary Sanchez. Nobody did anything at the plate today, but to single out Glaber,
Glaber at least had a hit. He had the first hit of the season for the Yankees.
right? He had that little blooper that went in before the home
left
run.
fielder.
Why? Because did he get charged with an error on that thing on that one play?
I
I
don't
don't think
so.
so.
I don't think so.
That
He
was the,
m-
I'll
he
look, but I don't think
possibly
he did.
it could have went either way. I guess I kind of missed that. I just heard it went under his glove.
no, it didn't go under his glove. It was like
No,
a
it's a
bad hop,
tough
and he
throw.
didn't,
Oh,
field it,
then-
he didn't field it cleanly.
Then Michael K misspoke or someone did. They said it just missed under his glove.
No.
No, he wasn't credited with an error on that.
All right, so
They said.
we'll wrap it up here with Chris Colon here. He says, not the way we wanted to start the season. We missed a lot of opportunities to win the game, but what pissed me off more than anything is Stanton getting booed, but Judge is spared after the DP with the bases loaded to end the inning. It's only one game. Let's get over it. All rise all the time. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But here, can I just say this before we actually close the show here today? That I see it's not just Chris. I know Chris is a great listener, and we can tell that by, the all rise all the time thing. And so I'm not singling him out because I've seen this a lot of other people tweeted this today. Why are we trying to pit our players against each other now?
Mm.
Just because we're booing Stan doesn't mean we should say, well, why aren't you booing? We shouldn't be booing anybody after one game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's like, it shouldn't be like, oh, why'd you boo Stan? Then you didn't boo Judge, when you can say that maybe Judge had a worse game than Stan, which could all be true. But why are we trying to do that?
You
Why
know
are we
what,
trying
Christian? it all comes down to the same thing with 61, right? It's like Mickey Mantle versus Roger Maris. The one guy is the homegrown, and the other's that guy that they brought in. There, you see, I thought of that comparison before when we brought up 61, but how that fan just tweeted that, saying how Judge was spared. I mean, again, though, one game you shouldn't in the first place, but that plays a part in why he
Yeah,
isn't
but
booed the way Stanton is.
yeah, but maybe he was using it in the context that I was saying before. I don't condone the booing after one game because it's irrational. If you want to boo, I don't support booing guys that you're rooting for. Like it's pointless, like Christian said. But if you're gonna do it after a guy's slumped after a full month, fine, do what you got to do. But my point, my context before was I was trying to stress how irrational it was to boo Stanton in a sense of he's the fucking guy who actually showed up in the postseason, whereas Judge was the guy who fucking looked terrible in bigger spots today. So I was just trying to stress the irrationality of the booing of Stanton, how
Right, because
stupid it was.
because you want to know what's going to happen next is that you're going to get warring factions of Yankee fans that are going to just boo Aaron Judge because they want you to keep the same energy that you have with John Carlos Stanton, and you're going to have people booing Stanton because they're just they're brain dead.
What it comes down to is for some reason people just people are choosing misery over happiness nowadays. It's like people just want a reason to be fucking angry and miserable in life. They just want to be like fuck you. Like I do it
Yeah.
as a joke. My shit's a fucking joke. Like I don't walk around hating everything. I mean, I do it as a fucking joke.
No,
People
you're-
think I really hate everything around me. I
No,
don't.
your misery.
No, your misery. But you're
No.
happier lately. Last couple episodes.
Your mom.
Ryan's mom or my mom?
No, just
Road
your
dog?
mom.
Road dog. That's what I'm calling her from now on.
I just realized that today's April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
anybody. Yeah, just so we clear the air on this, that whole beginning of the show is not like an April Fool's thing.
You know, I was gonna
I
say
didn't
it.
think of that.
I was gonna say it, but I was like, I don't even want people to think it because they're not even gonna be really listening to this on April Fool's because it's gonna release tomorrow. So
April
it was not a Fool's of April.
All right, so now the fun starts. The season's underway. The Yankees lost the opener 3-2 to the Blue Jays in 10 innings. So they'll wrap up the series against the Blue Jays Saturday, 105. It's the Klubot making his Yankee debut against Ross Stripling for the Blue Jays, and then they'll wrap up the series at 105 on Easter Sunday. Domingo Herman and against the Blue Jays Blue Jays newest acquisition TBD.
Oh, they got him. He's playing over
The
there. It'll probably be
deadly
Steven
sexually
Matz.
transmitted disease that is rampant in Major League Baseball.
So we'll be back to record
Klubot.
after the game on Sunday. So then we'll settle in and just looking, and then we'll just play by ear when the midweek pod will be. Yankees do have an off day after they play. Where are they playing after after Toronto? They do have an off day after they play Baltimore, so we'll probably look to record that day. So, we'll take it week by week for when that midweek pod is, and that's what we were saying. Like we're not cutting back; we're actually going to give you more. We're going to give you more content as we we'll see what happens. Like we said, this could very well be the final season for the NYYST podcast, but we're going to give you more. We're not cutting back at all. So, like we said, with the midweek pod, that's part of the announcement too, is that there will be 2 shows a week going forward here. And there's just, you're still going to get your Monday morning show unless there's I can't see anything in the first cup in the first really up until June 27th, which the time is TBD against Boston. There's no scheduled Sunday night game. So unless it's like a scheduled Sunday night game when we have our preview show that we record in the morning, you'll get your usual Monday morning pod to wrap up the week. And then, like we said, we'll play it by ear when we come back for the midweek pod. We don't want to bother Ryan too much, so we booted him off the midweek pod.
Really?
Pace.
Booted?
No kidding. So the only thing that we will say is that you might not get all three of us during the midweek, but there will be a midweek pod. That's
Oh, you're getting all three of
We
us.
we'll
All
try our best
rise all the time.
all right. So thank you very much for listening to episode 222 of the NYYST podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. Go to NYYSportsTalk.com/shop. Check out the new Sterling Silhouette shirt. It's Glaber Day.
Oh,
Use the code fellas15 for 15%.
I like these shirts, guys. Sorry, I can't. I really wish I could do a Sterling. I can't.
Please use code.
However,
However,
was good.
you're interrupting me now. Now
Now you're triggered. We all got triggered
Now,
this episode.
everybody's triggered. Use code
The T in NYYST stands for triggered.
yeah,
NYY Sports Triggered.
triggered. NYYS triggered.
All right, but the code is fellas15, 15% off and free shipping on your order. There, done. Boom. Thank you for listening. Stat guy Rye,
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.